FlossTube. My name is Christy, and I've been watching FlossTube now for probably a good 3 years, and so enjoy so many of you, and I'm thankful for your love of needlework and your willingness to put yourself out there. So I'm going to attempt that. I do have some notes here, so I may look down because I want to make sure that I cover everything. I have been married, happily married, for 22 years to my wonderful, gorgeous husband. We live in middle to southern Ohio, on the family homestead where my husband's father and his father were both raised. We live on a funny farm. I like to refer to it as a funny farm. We are raising 9 children here, and a menagerie of animals. We have a donkey, horses, cattle, hogs, chickens, ducks, bunnies. I think that's it. So we tend to love all of God's creatures, and I'm happy as long as they stay out in the barn and not in the house. I have, like I said, 9 children. They range in ages from 21 and married. Our oldest has been married going on 2 years, so missing her some, have had to adjust a little bit there, but very thankful for our wonderful son-in-law. And then the kids go down 18 to age 6. And one of the first things people ask me when they meet me and find out that I am insane and have 9 children is if they're all mine or if they're all ours. And my answer is yes. They are all mine, and all ours. However, they've come to us biologically and then through adoption. So we were licensed foster to adopt parents, and some kids I carried in my womb and some of them I carried in my heart. And we talk a lot about that in our family. And if you would have any questions about foster care, I know what it looks like in our state of Ohio, but I would be happy to help answer. That's a passion of mine. I believe we're called to treat children for the blessings that they are and love them, and I understand that sometimes kids come from hard places and grow up and have hard things happen, and so our heart was always to help families reunify if that's what needed to happen. But if not, that we knew ourselves well enough to know that if somebody came and spent, be honest, 2 minutes probably, we would love them. And if that was how it worked out, that they became adoptable, then that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to be able to open our hearts as well as our home permanently if children would need that. So that's like way more than I probably plan to share, but we have 5 girls and 4 boys in that menagerie, and I have 3 boys together that are 11, 9, and 7, and they keep me hopping, they keep me busy. Our youngest daughter does as well, but they're all really fun. They're like my people. So I homeschool so that I can be with my people and help them on their learning journey. We've always homeschooled. Thankful for the blessing of my husband working hard outside our home and at home with the menagerie of animals to help us be able to do that. And yeah, so that's a little bit about me. Like I said, I'm just mid to southern Ohio, so my local needlework shop is Cross My Heart in Columbus, Ohio, And I know there's a lot of stitchers here in our area that watch FlossTube and go to the retreats. So last year was my first retreat with Cross My Heart. So hi girls, all of you that I got to meet last year. I don't know how often I will do these because I tend to be fairly monogamous in my stitching. I know a lot of you have said that that has changed as you've done FlossTube, so I'm thinking that won't be the case for me, but I learned never to say never. I've said never about a lot of things that have happened in life, so I just choose to embrace the crazy that I swore was never going to happen, like 9 kids and farm life. I was going to marry a millionaire and travel. Which is so funny now. If you saw, we do a 2-acre garden, and I'm busy here at home. I have no gumption to go far. Thought I would mention a couple of the stitchers who I adore. I watch FlossTube a lot in the evening, so there are many of you that I adore. But my one of my BFFs in real life that I got to know online for a few years, and then actually probably more than a few years, but is who I lovingly refer to as the rock star of cross stitch. When I think of a rock star, I think of Mick Jagger, you know, tight leather jeans and just rocking the stage. The Twisted Stitcher Vanna is who I refer to as the rock star of cross stitch, and I adore her. We've met now in person and done a couple things together, and I've made wonderful memories with her. I'm so blessed and thankful for her friendship. One of my local stitchers here that I adore is Renee, and she's a model stitcher for Little House Needleworks, and I am not in the caliper of stitcher that both of them are. I just love to stitch. I'm like learned from my mom when I was 8, making some Christmas gifts, and I don't know if I do it right or not. I tend to stitch how Vanna has demonstrated how she does, with like the sewing machine up and down, and I don't turn my needle. I've done that pre-Vanna announcing that she did that. So it just made sense to me at some point that you wouldn't twist that thread, and I started stitching like that. So that's about the only thing I think that I did not learn from Vanna, though. Pretty much everything else I have learned from her. At her excellent finishing and just her willingness to share her knowledge are a couple of the things that I adore about her. I'm saying a lot, and I apologize. I'm very nervous. I'm an introverted extrovert where I love people, but I kind of need quiet too, and I'm better one-on-one or one-on-two with people. So those of you who do the great big retreats and stuff, I just think, wow, I don't know if I could do that. I tend to be kind of the quiet one, sitting laughing at the table, enjoying everybody, but probably not like super gregarious or out there. So people, I think, sometimes think I might be a little snotty, and it's not that. I just don't put myself out there like that. So even doing this, I am so nervous. I hope you all will just bear with me and give me some grace. But I, being a monogamous stitcher, hope to have some stuff to show you, but I understand it might not, these might not happen a whole ton, but I would love to just share. If anybody has any questions, let me know. I'm going to go ahead and share a couple of my fully finished and keep with how everybody tends to present their work as they do their floss tubes. I don't know that there's a model, but there seems to be some sort of template where you kind of share your finishes first. So one of the things about me is I love words. I love a good Lizzie Kate. If the caption is heartwarming or endearing to me, I'm all about that. So a couple of those that I have finished are, so this one's called, it's an inspiration boxer, I'm Only One. And I like to do little pillows and kind of prop them around the house where I can. I have some framed work. I'm working on increasing my knowledge and skills on doing that myself in the hopes that I can save some money. Another one is another inspiration boxer. Not all of us can do great things, but we can do small things with great love. These just kind of speak to me where I am. My other hobby is laundry. As you can guess, with 9 kiddos living on a farm, truly my other hobby is laundry. Just would be so much easier if they didn't need clean clothes and food, but those are 2 of the requirements that I'm afraid kids just all need. You will see from some of my completed work and some of my whips, I love a good Plum Street. So this hangs on the wall in our living room. I also love samplers and baskets of fruit. Some of the stitchers I tend to share styles with would be Farm Girl Michelle Rudy. I adore everything she stitches. Lori at Mischievous Stitches. We've communicated a little bit on Instagram, and I just think she's adorable. I know she says she's real tall, and I see some of the things that she puts out there on Instagram, and yeah, she looks tall, but she's just so sweet. I just want to tuck her in my pocket. I just think she looks pocket-sized, and we could just stitch together all the time. One of the other stitchers that I love and adore is Yvonne, Night Owl Stitcher, and I understand why she's not doing videos, and I just, if she's watching, would love for her to know that I'm keeping her and her family in my prayers and praying big things over them. That's it for my fully finished. I have been busy stitching this summer though, so we take a little break from homeschooling, and I'm able to sit outside or wherever we are and stitch away. So a few things that I'm hoping to finish soon are Henrietta by Stacy Nash. This is stitched on the 35 count Confederate gray with all the called for, except I used camouflage on her dress. I wasn't sure about it because that tan is kind of all hanging down there at the bottom, but it kind of looks like she's just been running around the farmyard. She's a little muddy, and I have to say, that means she's working hard. I kind of like that about her, so I kept it. I'm planning on finishing her in this fabric. We have a local quilt store called the Red Rooster. Of course, I love it because of the name, and I'm gonna do some of the seam binding with that. Fingers crossed. Probably be watching for Vana tutorials before I attempt anything again, because I forget. This is one that I finished last year, and it is a Merrily Beams. I completely changed the colors on this, but that is a John Wesley quote, and I I'm a word girl, so I loved that. Another one that I finished is Plum Street Samplers, Kringle and Woolard. This is on a 40 count mystery linen. I try and track what I stitch things on in my bullet journal, but life happens and sometimes that doesn't always go the way I intended it to. This is the Heritage Sampler by Plum Street. I think this is on 36 count. Probably what it called for, but possibly not. Another one is Farmhouse Christmas. This is Little House Needleworks. This is on the 40 count Country Mocha, and along with Vanna's lovely border. Seriously, people, Rockstar cross stitch. In case anybody has not heard of these, I don't know how that's possible, but maybe you haven't heard of Little House. Okay, next one is Prairie Life Sampler by Heartstring Samplery. This is 1/1 on 30 count Weeks Dyed Works linen, and it's linen is the color way. Plan on doing a ditty bag for that one with some sprays of something in it from Hobby Lobby. In our camper, we have a fairly large camper that I like to decorate with cross stitch too. One more. These are some of the smalls I've done this summer. This is right here is where Liberty dwells. This is a With Thy Needle, Brenda Gervais. This is on 40 count Country Mocha. The other one is George and Martha by Plum Street. It's 1/1 on R&R Parched Bone, 30 count. And then Honeybee Hill, Her Majesty, is a Blackbird Designs, and it's 1/1 on 32 count straw linen. Alrighty. My current whip, I'm so excited to get into fall stitching, is Penny Autumn by Plum Street Sampler. I'm doing it on Picture This plus Rin, and all the called for except I was out of hickory sticks, so I used Tin Roof on the roof of the house. Genius. Hoping to have a finish on this in the near future. I use Q-snaps and hoops hand in hand. It's how I'm feeling, depending on what we're up to and where I'm at. Another one that I like to get to soon is I finished, I think this is Cowpile is the name of this one. You know, all the animal stacks that Paulette's put out. I changed this up a little bit. I don't recall what threads I used, but I'm not a pinky girl. So I changed the colors on some of those flowers to blues. And I've got, you know, some of the animals we have here at the farm that I like to do. That's a large piece of linen. I think I'm going to do little pillows to display. And then lastly, I finished up a lot of my patriotic stitching, but Stephanie at Lindy Stitches released a couple new patterns, and one of them I just fell in love with. It's a Stitch for Sweet Freedom. one of our blessings is biracial little girl, and so I was immediately drawn to this because of the tone of this gal's skin on here, because our daughter is wonderfully and beautifully made, and there's not a lot of stitched patterns out there for girls that look like her. So I fell in love with this and am thankful to Stephanie for mixing it up and putting forth beautiful, beautiful work. I've stitched a couple of her other fun ones. Birds to the Bow is one that I would love to do, but it's big, and so it would be a time commitment for me, and I would try and get to that. One of the FlossTubers that I enjoy is Teresa of Kitten Stitcher and Shakespeare's Peddler. Her designs are beautiful, and I just enjoy her personality. She's down in Mississippi, which is where my sister is, and so I feel like when she talks about what's going on with the weather down there and everything, like, you know, I could just call on her and she would go check on my sis for me. FlossTube is a funny thing. I feel like I know a lot of y'all, and yet you have no clue who I am. So that's one of my hopes in putting this out there, is just to one other way to connect. I've commented some. I tend to watch on my phone, so it's not always conducive to being able to comment super easy. But Teresa is doing Sampler September, and I recently purchased a couple things from her shop. I just really liked this for fall. I can just picture that in a little bowl. And I'm trying the XU Designs fabrics. So I ordered 40 count rustic drab. I'm not sure if I'm going to stitch that on this or if I'm going to try it on a different fabric that I have in my basket of linen. I have some of these too. I may peek through these and see if there's something that I might start. And then I bought this when it first came out. It's a Hands Across the Sea. It's the Ufendel sisters. And on Fiber Talk, where Vanna talks with Gary Parr, she happened to mention unicorn charts, and on one of their sampler talks, I could not believe, you could have knocked me over with a feather, that I had something that Vanna didn't have. Seriously, could I just go live in her basement? But she doesn't have this, so I would like to start. I really thought I'd only do one, and I haven't decided which one. So I wouldn't mind starting one of these so that I can hopefully lend this to my dear friend, so that she can stitch one or both of them in her ginormous stash of beautiful whips. So that's it for me. I am thankful and hopeful that this will become a good way for me to get to know some of you. If I started listing all of you that I watch and adore, it would take some time. So I'm maybe plan on sharing every couple videos some of the FlossTubers that I like. Until we meet again, have a wonderful, wonderful stitching time. Bye-bye.